Hello YouTube. It's time for another video where I just talk to the camera for a bunch. This time I wanted to talk a little bit more about my philosophy for content creation as it currently is. I've been uploading consistently for about 5 months now, which isn't too long in the grand scheme of things, but it has been enough time to get me thinking about the kind of content creator I am right now, as well as the content creator I want to be going forward into the future. Content creation is something that I plan to do long term, and if I intend on keeping that sustainable and healthy, then I believe that my content needs to be built on solid foundations. In order to build these foundations, I've created a set of guidelines for myself that will not only apply to my content, but to myself in general, that I think is going to lead me down the best path going forward. These guidelines aren't designed with creating the most successful videos in mind. They aren't designed for millions of views at once or something. They're mostly designed so that I can consistently say that I'm proud of the content that I'm putting on my channel. I think it's easy to be sucked down the wrong path, and I hope that by creating this video and doing a little bit of self-reflection, I'm able to give myself a little bit of resistance against making the wrong choices going forward. As much as the purpose of this video is to share these guidelines with you all, the secondary purpose is to kind of have a time capsule of myself at the beginning of my content creation career. That's kind of the goal of this whole series, but for this specifically, I know that as I grow up as a content creator and as someone who's just on the internet, I'm going to have different opinions, I'm going to change, I'm going to grow, I'm going to learn, and as I grow and learn, I'm probably going to want to look back at this and think, wow, that I was thinking a little bit differently back then. I hope that these guidelines are something that I can say I've always followed, but I know that when you do content creation seriously, you have to make decisions that are good for both the business of the brand as well as for yourself. And I'm kind of making this as a reminder to my future self that currently I believe that having a financially stable career as a content creator is not mutually exclusive with creating content that you can be proud of personally. You don't have to sell your soul to YouTube just to make it. I think there are other ways to do it. Overall, I just hope that future me, wherever he is right now, is someone that current me at the start of my career as a content creator, is someone that I can continue to be proud of and hope to long to become one day. Now, these guidelines aren't really organized in any list of particular importance, but I would say that the very first one that I'm going to share is the most important to me. Number one is that my reason for creating content and being a content creator in general is to entertain and to create a positive impact on the world. The reason why I choose to create content is because it's been something that I've been passionate about my entire life. I'm not doing it because I think it's going to make me super rich, and I'm not doing this because I'm interested in being famous. I'm doing this because it's something that I felt like I wanted to do, and it's something that I feel like I kind of have a natural affinity towards. My whole life, I've tried to use a positive and optimistic attitude along with a little bit of comedy to bring those up around me, and I feel like YouTube is really just an extension of that passion of mine. I get to share my strange personality with as many people as possible, and I hope that a few people are entertained by it along the way. To that end, I'm not going to create any content that is purely designed for the money or to generate me money. I also am not going to hyper-aggressively ask for subs in a way that many content creators do these days. If I do ask anyone to subscribe, it would be because I want people to genuinely find value from my content. I'm not going to say like, look at my statistics, only 2% of my viewers are actually subscribed, or subscribe and you'll get a cookie or something. Those strategies have worked, but I feel like they're not part of what I want my brand to be. I want my brand to be subscribe if you want more of this strange fella showing up in your inbox, because that's the function of a subscribe. The reason why I'm monetizing my content at all is because this is something that I intend to do full-time if I can. And to do something full-time, you need to make money from it. That's just how it works. So I need to have at least a little bit of income just so I can support myself like that. But I don't really want to shoot for being exorbitantly rich or anything. I'm obviously not going to be like, oh no, money, the root of all evil. But I'm not thinking, you know what's going to get me rich quick? YouTube. I'm going to go do that YouTube thing because I think I'm going to make a ton of money from it. I really don't think that's the case. Content creation is very hard work from what I've seen. I've seen a lot of those like behind the scene videos of content creators who are just burnt out and taking a break. It's pretty rampant across the community where content creators will just work so hard that they feel like they have nothing left to give. So I know that the field that I'm trying to enter is not something that's always sunshine and rainbows, and that's not what I'm trying to go for. I'm accepting all the challenges of content creation beforehand because there's something that I think that I could overcome, and there's something that I feel like is not going to set me back from my overall goal. if I were to chase things like money or fame, it would simply just never be enough. You can always have more money, you can always be more famous, there's always going to be someone more famous than you. So I feel like if I chase those things, it's going to be a cycle that never stops. I'm going to always want to continue chasing after something I can never really attain. But if I'm creating content for myself, creating content to make people happy, then even if I know I'm making one person happy, then I'm just like, yes, mission achieved. I've changed one person's day for the better. And I think if I can continue on that path where that is what I find fulfilling about content creation, it will stay sustainable for a while. Number 2, my content will never be malicious in nature or intend to belittle or bully any group of people for any reason ever. I want all of my videos to be able to be enjoyed by anyone, and I want people who are participating in my videos to also enjoy what they're doing, or at least be having some amount of fun. For that reason, I'm never going to make content that's based on like pranking random people or trying to manipulate random people into doing things like that, because I feel like that's not cool to the people you're doing it to and doesn't really make for great content, because it's just like, why are these people doing these awful things just for entertainment? It just feels icky overall to me. That being said, I'm not ruling out a little bit of consensual suffering in my videos, and by that I mean if I want people to have to do something they don't necessarily want to, they know what they're getting into before the video actually starts. So if they're going to be eating spicy food, I'm going to tell them, hey, you're going to be eating spicy food, get ready for that. I still think there's some amount of entertainment to be derived by watching people absolutely lose their minds or have to do some challenging thing that they need to overcome, so that's why I'm not saying no to those videos entirely, but I am saying that if people are in those videos, I want them to know what to expect from the video. Another important cornerstone of this is that I'll never ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So if I'm going to ask someone to eat spicy food, then I should be willing to eat the spicy food too. I'm a content creator, and if I'm not in there with the content that I'm creating, then I'm just part of the audience. I'm watching people participate in something. I don't want people to have to do things and me just be able to stay on the sidelines and be like, you guys are in the video, I'm just the host, you know, I'm not going to be doing those things. I want to know that if I'm asking people to do things, I would be 100% willing to do them as well, because if I'm not, then that should raise some major questions on the level of things that I'm asking people to do. Number 3, my content will be filled with my desires, passions, and interests first before anything else. I think knowing your audience and knowing what your audience wants to watch is very important, and is something that I definitely want to consider, but I don't want it to be the very first thing I think of, because I don't think that's going to be a sustainable path forward for me. I want my content to be something that I, at my core, feel passionate about creating, so that I know that when I go to make something, I will have that kind of intrinsic motivation to get it done and to create the thing. I also don't want to pursue a particular type of video purely because it's trending or if I think it'll be successful. Obviously, I'm not going to like shy away from trends if there's some way that it just naturally fits, but I'm not going to like force myself to chase every single trend that I can, because it doesn't feel very creative to me, and it just feels like I'm chasing whatever is currently popular rather than trying to forge my own path as a creator. I want people to enjoy my content and I want to be able to reach a wide audience, but I also know that people aren't going to want to watch something that they obviously know that the creator has no actual interest towards, or that's obviously just a shill for the trend or shill for the money or whatever. I want content that's created from the heart, so that's going to be one of my main focuses. Number 4, don't focus on the success of other content creators. This has been a large issue for me, especially because there's a lot of other people popping up right now that are basically exactly my age. They've been on this planet the exact same amount of time, and yet they're out there accomplishing my dreams while I'm here just getting started. For the longest time, I was really jealous of them. I was thinking, man, they're the same age, how are they this successful? They must have just gotten really lucky. But I've realized now that they didn't. They didn't get lucky. They put in the work and they put in the hours, and they got what they deserved. If I'm someone that's just starting and I'm expecting to be anywhere near where they are, that's kind of just really cocky on my part. I can't expect to have some sort of explosive growth when I've just been uploading for 5 months. And sure, it happens to some people, but it doesn't happen to everyone, and I don't want it to happen to me this early, to be honest. So I've decided that I'm going to stop worrying about the success of others as much and really just focus on making myself the best. Life isn't a race, and everyone learns at their own pace. I'm going to keep developing myself, and someday, who knows, I might be at their level and I might be able to stand on an equal footing, but I'm not going to rush it, and I'm not going to think that they got it out of chance, and I'll recognize all the hard work that they had to put in to get to where they are now, and maybe someday I'll get there too. Number 5, innovate, don't imitate. There is a huge amount of just copy-paste culture on the internet as a whole right now, and it honestly just feels really soulless to me. Like, I had a situation earlier today where I had 2 reels recommended to me and they were exactly the same. Like, word for word, the punchline was the same, the script was the same, the jokes were the same, everything was identical, and I couldn't tell who even was the original creator of this idea because it could have been adapted and changed from so many people before, and that is content that I never want to associate with myself. I'm not against using ideas that have been used by others, but if I do, I want it to be transformative. I want my addition to it to be so different that it's obviously not the same thing. And even if I do that, I want to give due credit to the original creator of the idea. And if that creator saw my new addition, I wouldn't want them to say, hey, this is just a rehash of what I've already done. I would want them to say, wow, they took my idea and they added so much more to it. That's the kind of thing I want to get if I'm taking ideas from others. But for the most part, I want to generate my own ideas because I know I have a lot and I know I don't need to rely on ideas that already exist. Next is to strive for improvement always. I want to push myself to always be better between every single project or always be learning something more. For this project, I haven't been able to really do that, and I actually have been learning new things, but I haven't been able to sit down and actually particularly learn any new skill because of the constant upload every single week. In the future, I want to strive for that level of improvement where I'm specifically going out and learning new skills that I can add to my toolkit for future videos. Because if I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, I might get pretty good at it, but I still want to do better things, bigger and better things. And the only way to do that is if I'm actively striving for getting better. So I want to always have that hunger for improvement and desire to make myself better at my craft. Next, I want to respect my audience's time. If I'm asking people to watch something, then I want them to know that I put the work in to deliver what they clicked for, basically. That means that I'm not going to use any clickbait. If I use any titles, it's going to be exactly what's in the video. I don't want people to click a video and think, this isn't what I signed up for. What am I watching right now? And also, I don't want people to think, wow, when's he going to get to the point? When's the good part going to start? I don't want to use any of those cheesy retention tricks where you say the same sentence 5 times without actually communicating anything new. I want my content to be straight and to the point and actually have a purpose and a story. If people are engaged and are being retained to the end of my videos, it should be because I told an engaging story or had an interesting concept, and it shouldn't be because I used some sort of weird thing to get people to watch all the way to the end. This kind of ties back to the first one, but as I grow as a creator, I want to always remember why I started this in the first place, because I feel like as you develop, it's kind of easy to forget why you started. You get so caught up in the minutiae of life and every part of the thing that you're doing that you forget your original, pure intent for why you started. And I feel like the time that I have now where that intent is clear and I feel like I do have that direct purpose is going to be a short period of my life. So I want to create this portion as a kind of time capsule to remind myself of why I started. I'm a content creator because it's been my dream my entire life. I've always wanted to make people laugh. I've always wanted to entertain. It's always been something that has been very core to my personality. I've never pursued it because my entire life I told myself that it wasn't a viable career path and never thought of it as something that I could actually consider doing. Over the past year, and specifically over the last 5 months, I've really put that dream into overdrive and started putting my all into developing my craft and really getting towards it. And as I've done that, I've realized just how much I love this job in general. Like, creating content, putting in the work to think of new ideas has been something that I've really enjoyed and is something that I want to continue doing for a long time. I've seen a lot of success and I've seen a lot of failure, but overall this entire project has just shown me that this would be something that I would be happy doing. My mission isn't to be the next world's biggest content creator of all time. I don't think that's something that really interests me too much. The thing that I want to be is the best content creator I possibly can for the people who are choosing to stick around to enjoy my content. So for the people who do choose to subscribe and do choose to watch my videos consistently, these are the people that I have in mind when I create new content. I'm not trying to expand my reach to some global level where everyone knows my name. I just want the few people that do know my name to really enjoy spending time watching my videos and consuming my content, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. I hope that no matter where my career goes in the future, these guidelines are something that I can use to consistently go down the right path. And if they do change, I hope they only change for the better. That's all for now, though. I'll see you next week.